Hi Gemini, here is a general look at your solar chart for September 2015. And you might have a lot on your mind in September. You might be moving around more. Maybe there might be more going on at HQ or at some kind of base of operations, whether it's your actual home or not. And really it's kind of up your street in a way, and there's some other things going on too, like the emphasis now shifting out of the fixed signs into the mutable signs with the moves of Jupiter and Saturn. So you are a mutable sign, so this is for you to know about. And this means that the huge potential of Jupiter as well will be supporting more the earth and water signs, and the rather limiting and challenging energy of Saturn, which allows us to figure out how to build new foundations, will be affecting more the air and fire signs, and of course that would be you, being an air sign. So more on that in a minute, but until the 23rd, the Sun's position means that the center of your attention could be around this base of operations, or maybe it's to do with property matters, maybe it's to do with buying, selling, renting, leasing, that type of thing, or maybe it's not like that, maybe it's to do with family members or extended family, neighborhood, tribe. All of those sorts of things tend to be more in the middle of the stage, and also a little bit more sensitive, harking back to the past, sometimes feeling a bit nostalgic maybe, or being aware of a tradition of some kind, or traditions, but definitely feeling more sensitive, so listen to your instincts. Mercury, your ruling planet, is in an innovative sector of your solar chart. Now you enjoy playing with ideas and speculating maybe a little wildly on this or that or the other possibility. It's quite a fun, playful area. It's creative. Your creative juices could be flowing. This is good for the entrepreneurs and creatives among you. And also this is the area of romance. So some of you could become more romantically involved or expressive at this time. And also, of course, innovative and creatively inspired at this time. The only snag there would be that Mercury is going retrograde on the 17th, and that will be until the 8th of October. So that might mean that you have to kind of go over things, or things are in a bit of a go slow. You've got to dot the I's and cross the T's, or maybe, you know, there's postponements, delays, that type of thing. However, it's quite an upbeat area for Mercury to be in. Speaking of beating, it could be that you're beating the drum on something, you're putting the word out there in some way. It's a good position for that. And also the position of Venus and Mars is perfect for that, because Venus and Mars are definitely all right tonight in your chart. So Venus, well, let's start with Mars. Mars is the incomer, but Mars is adding fire and drive to the Venus energy in this very sociable sector of your sun sign chart, Gemini. And that means that Mars is accelerating your mental processes. That's why I said you might have a lot on your mind, maybe feeling a bit scattered at times, but firing up the way you are thinking, you're expressing yourself, and that can be applied through different sort of channels, maybe through education, maybe through coming and going more, maybe through vehicles, travel, transport, that kind of thing, or it's simply the connections that you can be making. And with Venus in there as well, this is an excellent time to be networking and making those crucial, maybe very useful, some of them, connections, even making a new friend. You have to be careful not to go too far too fast, or not to shoot from the hip before you've really thought something through. That's the thing I would sort of, just a word in your ear about that. That's a bit of advice I would give you, because Mars is a bit like Ken and Venus is a bit like Barbie sometimes. You know, engaging engaging brain before mouth even would be better than the other way around. Also there could be more on your plate with paperwork and correspondence, as well as, you know, quick fire connections with other people. So, and there is a kind of wifty-wafty energy around as well with Jupiter and Neptune this month, especially after the first week, which may have you promising more than you can deliver, or may have you being too idealistic about a situation or a person, or just something. With this position of Mars, you should start being able to make the decisions, getting the clarity. That is really very much the upside if things have been ambiguous. And Mars can really, really be helping with that, even though we have Jupiter opposing Neptune for a lot of the month. But you can be proactive and successful through media, through promotions, through negotiations, or simply speaking up for yourself in a more assertive kind of a way, and definitely through the arts. Venus in there really does stack the cards in your favor to be successful with your people skills, in negotiations, with maybe presenting something, doing a pitch on something. And Venus is there, has been there since June the 6th, and will be there until October the 9th. So that's for you to know. She can help you be very articulate. She can help just this sort of energy of attractiveness with the way you are coming across, so others quite like your style maybe. You could be having experiences which are maybe entertaining, or more entertaining or exotic, or meeting up with the sort of people that are entertaining or exotic, and beautiful, or you hear lovely things. You know, you're feeling compliments might be coming your way, or maybe there's more music, or you know, sort of anything that anything that you value, anything that you really, really set store by, coming in your direction. You're drifting across, sort of along in the perfumed breeze. Well, you never know your luck. And, you know, sweet nothings in the air, that kind of thing. This transit could bring warm, supportive relationships with siblings as well, if there's been any kind of trouble there, you know, pouring oil on troubled waters, or indeed with soul brothers and sisters, or with anybody that you've been on the outs with. So, and as I said, did I mention buying, selling? Yes, you can do all right there as well. You need to work the energy. The energy is there for you to tap into in a smart kind of a way. Now, so that area is really strongly fired up with Mars in there. Mars leaves that area on the 25th and goes into the root of your chart, and then you can be more interested in DIY, doing things in and around the home. Physical effort may be needed right in your own backyard. There could be more hustle and bustle in and around your space. Maybe it's not you instigating it, maybe it's somebody else. This is the Ken energy. You know, sort of like muscly men around, pushing and shoving things, and maybe, you know, noisy. It could be like that. That's a possibility. Or maybe it's not like that at all. Maybe it's more to do with skeletons rattling in the closet, and to do with family matters, to do with historical decisions, perhaps. It could be like that. And because it's Mars, Mars likes to target something, make a decision, and get going, get the ball rolling. Doesn't like hanging around. This is Ken, remember, in his combat gear. So you could, you know, you might feel a bit more sensitive with Mars here. Easier to push your buttons, easier to kind of lose it and think, what am I going to do? I don't know how to handle this. But it'll be fine. And then because Mars can get stuff done, Mars is very productive. So you just have to kind of steer Mars, and you know, keep your head screwed on, you know, keep cool, calm and collected. For some of you, it will be parents and parenting that will be the area of demand and activity and decision making and initiation. Now the Sun moved on the 23rd, just before Mars moved into there, into a brighter, less inward vibrations. Remember, the Sun started off down at the root of your chart and the base of operations, and in the sort of the basement of the chart, indeed, to do with getting on with stuff, or indeed more likely to be getting on with stuff with the Sun's in there, actually. Well, sorry, when Mars is in there, but still, the Sun energy alone. But with Mars coming in there, that's really kind of stirring things up. Now, until the 23rd, there's a brighter, and also it's, of course, a longer transit. It's about a 6-week transit with Mars. Until the 23rd, the Sun moves out of there on the 23rd, and then until the 23rd, it should be, it could be the 22nd. No, it's from the 23rd. That's where I went wrong. It's from the 23rd. So that means that the Sun moves into this more creative energy and mood. And so if things are being very busy right in your own backyard, or it might not be your own backyard, might be to do with property matters in general, might be to do with trying to find a property, or it can be home improvements, of course, it can be the garden, it can be to do with the neighborhood. However, the Sun going into this brighter, lighter, more relaxing energy, it's more childlike, it's more spontaneous, then you are feeling the light of appreciation coming to you from others. You might be feeling center stage more, and I call this the house of fun, because as the degree meets up with the degree in one of your important points in your chart, then there can be this little flurry of activity in this very kind of creative sort of modality. There are other things going on now. Saturn moves on the 17th into your opposite sign and will be there for 2 years. So just over 2 years, actually, coming out of there in December 2017. So this means that over this 2 years, you will be learning about yourself through the interaction in certain maybe significant relationships, or close relationships, or relationships where you have an obligation, a responsibility, or sort of a little bit of a mixture of all of those kind of relationships. But so it could mean that sometimes you feel as though you're quite limited because of the agenda of another, or the even, you know, the misfortune of another. You know, it's not their fault, or it might be, you know, the mood of another. You just have to be more aware of another's requirements, and compromise will be the order of the day in a lot of cases. In other cases, it might be that you are having to be more disciplined because of another's requirements, rules, teaching. It might be they're just keeping pace with them in some way, and you might benefit hugely from this association with this person who has got a maturity or an expertise or a knowledge that you very much aspire to yourself. It can be like that. There is this feeling of having your wings clipped a little bit as you are working things out within the relationship, though. Having to watch your P's and Q's sometimes, or pace yourself, or take it slowly and gradually, because there might be some resistance there, depending on, you know, what sort of situation. And there's always many, many levels and layers in any planet's transit of any sign. So I might not have covered them all, but I will revisit this, of course, and so will all the other astrologers. And you will begin to see where your priorities lie, where your boundaries, the line for your boundaries should be during this transit, probably more towards the end of the transit as it completes itself, or as it gets further and further away from your sun sign. And you very, very early Geminians will be feeling that, you know, those of you born in the first couple of days will be feeling that this month, or with up to 2 degrees rising. And then we have Jupiter. Jupiter now in your home area, just getting settled in there for 1 year, and very much there is huge potential for Jupiter there, because it might mean that there's a newcomer in your space, or that you're expanding your space, or you're adding extensions to your space over this year. But generally, the nice thing with Jupiter at the root of the chart, where it will be for these 12 months, is that you tend to feel more inwardly settled, and emotionally you can create a sense of belonging and feeling more anchored. And outwardly, family and community relationships should improve, and some of you will make extensions to your base of operations, or indeed there could be a property transaction. So there could be buying and selling, which under the auspices of Jupiter there probably will go okay, and probably will stack the cards in your favor. You could do quite well out of it. In some way or another, financially, or in another sort of a way, because you've landed yourself just the right sort of place. Maybe it's like that. And you certainly will be learning a lot through this time, because Jupiter is the learning through doing planet. So if there are things to be tied up or sorted out with your current setup, domestic setup, then Jupiter's not a heavy energy there, but Jupiter will help you to learn an awful lot whilst that is being completed. You Geminians born from the 24th of May onwards, or with 3 to 11 degrees rising, the 24th of May or the 2nd of June, or 3 to 11 degrees rising, will feel this energy the most this forecast period. And just back to Jupiter and Neptune, it's best to have a plan B. If you've set yourself something which you're thinking, oh, in a grand sweep can all be done, it's best to have a plan B. It's best to, keep it real, keep your feet on the ground with whatever this might be relevant to. And there could be unreliability around, there could be elusiveness, it could be from somebody else, or it could be from you, actually, and others see you in that way. But there is going to be a total lunar eclipse in the beginning of Aries on the 26th of the month, and that lunar eclipse aspects very well with Saturn. So this is a nice steadying influence. This is very much a grounding influence. As this one unpacks itself over the months to come. So Jupiter and Neptune will be kind of close during that eclipse as well. So that will be a kind of a steadying, a settling influence, and a more realistic influence creeping in there to get that clarity that maybe wasn't there. But definitely, as I say, don't put all your eggs in one basket, and definitely have a plan B. And I would say that that's the general sort of motto for the whole of life at any time at all. And that's it for September. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, listen to those. And also you can find this, or the bones of this, written up on my website, DianaGarland.com. And I will see you the next time.